Hi, welcome to the Histrology Show. I am your host and novice historian, Gwen.
And I'm Lindsay Roth. I'm a licensed therapist and unlicensed astrologer.
Just a quick note before we get started, this is meant to be a very casual conversation about these two subjects, history and astrology. So if you're someone who takes either of them very seriously, this might not be the show for you.
Thanks, Gwen. There are limits to the observable universe and nothing's real.
And with that, let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear of a man named Elvis? What about Chuck Berry or Johnny Cash or Jimi Hendrix?
Yes, I've heard plenty. Oh, yes.
What about the Rolling Stones? You like them? Well, so it's very important that you listen to today's episode because today we are talking about the woman who paved the way for all of these men.
A woman?
She was playing guitar, she was a trailblazer, and the godmother of rock and roll. Yes, that's right. Today we're talking about none other than Sister Rosetta Tharpe. So, Sister Rosetta Tharpe was born on March 20th, 1915 in Cotton Plant, Arkansas. Her big three are...
With chart rectification, we know her sun is in Pisces, her moon is in Taurus, and we think she's a Cancer rising.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rosetta was the only child of two cotton pickers named Katie Bell Newbin and Willis Atkins. Willis was a singer, but he wasn't really around and had many children with many other women. So Sister Rosetta had many, many half-sisters, but no direct siblings. And Katie was a very religious woman. She was a missionary and a speaker at the Church of God, which was a Pentecostal church. So... You're Jewish. Let me inform you about the Pentecostal church. Lindsay's always like, I don't understand the different denominations of Christianity. And honestly, neither do I. But I did a little diving into it.
They're the talkers. Or they speak in tongues.
They're
that
the
much I know.
They're the talkers,
yes.
The Pentecostals. That's correct. The way they would frame it.
Sorry.
Is that they both, and I like this. I like this version of it, which is they believe in direct communion with God through the Holy Spirit. So things like speaking in tongues, miraculous healings, prophecy.
Cool. So opposed to like Catholics where like the Pope tells them what to think and feel and do. Correct. They are connected to the source. And that makes so much sense for this Pisces queen.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. It's a direct connection and communion with God through the Holy Spirit. And I think that informs her life quite a bit.
Yeah,
actually.
Super spiritual.
And I'm into it. I like people having their own personal relationship with God and not having to go through a middleman.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this church that they were a part of really encouraged a lot of musical expression and actually encouraged women to speak, teach, preach, all that stuff. So it's kind of a big deal. And Katie definitely passed this on to Rosetta, encouraging her to sing and to play the guitar from a very young age. By the age of 6, Rosetta is already considered a musical prodigy.
Think of a 6-year-old, you know. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. You see it on like piano a lot. Young people pick up something like if they're young, they absorb the information really well, and you see young people playing the piano really well. But guitar?
I was at a 6-year-old birthday party last night. That's amazing. I mean, mostly because she was like working since she was 6 too, from my understanding.
Yeah, so pretty much like this is her calling, this is her life. Like she immediately starts entertaining people from a very young age.
Not saying 6-year-olds can't play guitar, but like that they can like sit and do it when they're told is incredible.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, you need a higher power to appeal to.
That's what I mean. I think this was what she was raised to believe, that she was having direct communication with God via her music. And so she was very into it and really took to it right away. So it was around this time that Katie left Willis and her Rosetta went on the road traveling with an evangelical group. And so, Rosetta was already performing on a regular basis for people, and they ended up landing in Chicago in the mid-1920s. Rosetta continued to perform at their new church, which was Robert's Temple on 40th Street, and Rosetta's reputation as a musical miracle just continued to grow. There weren't many young Black girls with a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
entertaining, singing gospel at this time. So people really ate it up.
Mm-hmm.
She was a very vivacious young girl.
Yeah. I mean, she's so beautiful. She's adorable.
She's adorable.
She's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Love a gap tooth.
You can imagine her as a 6-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
the
just a
curls,
young girl.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, just doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been very, very intriguing
Yeah.
at the least. Yeah. Very cute.
I would have converted.
Yeah, she would have had me.
Yeah.
At the age of 19, Rosetta married her first husband, Thomas Thorpe. And it was kind of set up by her mom because, like we said, she was a very religious woman. She was very involved in the church. He was a preacher.
Okay.
And so it was kind of a situation where they were supposed to team up, and he was the preacher and she was the musician, and she was supposed to draw in the crowds for him to be able to preach to. So it was really more of a business situation than it was a romantic, loving one. And so it didn't last very long.
Okay.
Yeah. Rosetta decided to leave him and move to New York City to try and make her way in the music business.
Okay. Like around the time she's 23, it looks like? Or
yeah, I would say they were together for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't have the exact date on here, but she was 19 when they got married. I think they were together for a couple of years, and she was like, this isn't for me. I'm going to New York. Yeah. Interesting age, you think?
Yeah, and then that's that Saturn opening square.
Yeah.
Where, like, she is gonna do her own thing.
Yeah, it's the early 20s, so her identity is being formed. And to not just go along with what was happening at the times, but to really know her truth at such a young age and say, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. It's impressive.
It really is.
Yeah. So, New York City. This is where things get exciting. Rosetta, is 23. Actually, I did have that note down. So, she's 23. Nailed it. And she's so talented, and people love her. She's getting jobs immediately, singing in very famous nightclubs like the Cotton Club. And churchgoers are a little scandalized by this.
I can imagine.
Yes, because all of a sudden she's singing very popular secular music. And this is really moving away from her roots, which was gospel. And
she's in the church, and now she's in nightclubs.
Yes.
Integrated nightclubs sometimes.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Okay. In New York City.
In New York City,
the playground of the devil.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she's not just preaching to the Lord anymore. She's singing about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And so people were, you said maybe people were angry about this. I'm sure there maybe were some people who were angry, but I think the correct word is maybe shocked.
Shocked.
Scandalized, shocked. They're like, oh, surely not our Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah.
Not her, not our girl. Yeah. But she was doing that. But like I said, she was wildly popular. People loved her. And so she got a record deal pretty early on. She was able to record 4 songs for Decca Records. And she's already starting to blend her two worlds together. So she does go back to her gospel roots. She's not like she runs off on the secular train.
Okay.
When she has some say, she definitely chooses to sing about the Lord and sing gospel. But she also starts to incorporate what she's learned about popular music and maybe in the nightclubs and some different sounds. And I'm sure she was told to sing certain songs by her record label as well. So I think she had some say about what she wanted to do, but then also there's these other influences coming in.
Yeah.
And she's already starting to blend these two worlds together.
Yes, and so not only does she have a sun in Pisces, but she has a Pisces stellium. So that's several planets, inner and outer planets in this sign that's all about merging, dissolving the appearance of separation, right? Like, I guess one of the things that just came to mind is so much of religiosity at this time is that there's the sacred and the profane, and she melts them.
She does.
And in some ways, she would have loved Burning Man. Like, she is...
R.I.P. Sister Rosetta Tharpe, you would have loved Burning Man.
She would have hated it, but loved it. She would have been there. Someone would have made sure that she was there, and because she was so ahead of her time, such a free thinker, such an innovator. And then, like, in some ways, like, this is the first time I'm seeing this concept of, like, I'm spiritual, not religious kind of vibes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think she's one of those people who's like, who says people in the nightclubs can't also praise God?
Yeah, like, just, like, the dance floor is my church.
Yeah. And she starts incorporating, like, it's not like a complete 50-50 blend. Sometimes it's very subtle. Like, it'll be a gospel song and she's singing about God, but she's adding a little growl into the way that she's singing the words. And people are like, whoa, you can't sing about God that way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can. Why can't I?
Yeah, exactly.
Why can't I? It has soul, right? And soul's the most important thing.
And it slaps.
And it slaps, right.
So hard. She invented slapping, really.
Pretty much, yeah. So, like, she's playing in nightclubs, she's touring with swing bands, and this is pretty much it. This is where we see the birth of the rock and roll sound, because she is blending gospel and R&B and blues and jazz, and she's kind of putting these things together. She has an electric guitar, which is like a very new instrument at the time, and she's making really cool noises with it. And this is things that people had never heard before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I'm just like, imagine like you go out to a nightclub like you've done a million times, and then like she's there just rocking your face off.
Yeah. Yeah, she really, I think what surprises me so much too about when you watch videos of her, she plays so effortlessly.
Okay.
Which is really, there's something about people who try really hard and people who have really mastered their craft, and it just happens almost without any effort. It just comes out of them.
That's actually like what the word cool is from a Yoruba word that like Miles Davis made popular. That is like being a master of what you do. Oh. So it's not just like being like cash or like unbothered. It's being excellent. Oh. And that's why it looks so awesome.
That's her.
Yeah.
That's totally her. She's just so cool. Like she just plays the guitar with such ease and she sings with such ease. Yeah. It's really fun to watch some of her old videos and be like, wow, yeah, you were made to do this. Definitely. So if you grew up in the 40s and 50s, she was a superstar. You know, she's one of the first commercially successful gospel artists ever, and she was a household name and a revolutionary. Despite all of this, she was still a Black woman in segregated America. So sure, she's popular and interesting and a household name and people know her, but she was a touring musician in segregated America, and yeah, it doesn't change the fact that she's Black, and so she suffered a lot of racism. And this is something that I thought was really interesting, is she may have been the first artist to make a tour bus.
Oh, so many firsts with this one.
Yeah. I tried to look, I was like, okay, somebody must have like recorded the history of the tour bus in America. Anything you see online is like, oh, they became really popular in the 50s and 60s as a way of being more efficient for musicians. They could just get on the bus after touring and sleep on the bus while they're on their way to their next city. But for Sister Rosetta Tharpe, it would have been a necessity because housing wasn't always guaranteed because she was a Black woman.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would have been using a tour bus in the 40s.
Okay.
To be able to do what she was doing.
Wow.
Which I think is really cool because like the tour bus is such an iconic image in like rock and roll history and lore of any band. Hire me to do the documentary about the tour bus and the iconography of the tour bus. I'm ready.
Yeah, because like, and just to underscore that, like at this time she might have been playing clubs where she still had to use the back entrance.
Exactly.
You know, and like traveling white Black at this time meant like constant harassment, or that you would like roll up to a hotel and they'd be like, no.
Exactly, just no.
Yeah,
and then where do you sleep?
Yeah, exactly. And you couldn't write a Yelp review. Couldn't cancel anyone. That's just how it was.
Which is too bad because these are the same people that she's entertaining.
So true.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. She had a very successful, career touring as a gospel artist in the 40s, and she would break boundaries in a lot of ways. She would invite white artists to perform with her, which was very shocking at the time. Kind of a mixed race entertainment thing happening. She also traveled and performed as a duo with another woman named Marie Knight.
Okay.
They would tour together, 2 women on their own, also very rare. They'd play piano and play guitar and sing together. And they probably were also lovers.
Okay.
Did you not know that?
Well, I hear her referred to as queer, and then I couldn't find any evidence for that, but interesting.
It's kind of an open secret is how people describe it, because they obviously wouldn't have been able to be open about this. It would ruin careers. It would ruin lives.
Yes. I mean, and there are signs. Like she has a tight conjunction between Venus, the sign of love, and art. And then that is right next to Uranus, right? So that is, I'll talk about it a lot. We'll talk about it more, right? The only planet that everything goes this way, Uranus goes this way.
Yeah.
You know, it is the rebel,
The
and
rebel.
so it means that she like it represents electricity. They're both in the sign of Aquarius, right? So she's doing wild and wacky and novel things.
Yeah, and electricity. She's
Yeah,
playing an electric
an
guitar.
guitar.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, so they were probably lovers,
Okay.
you know, and I think other musicians knew about it. Was like kind of open in musical spaces, it sounds like.
Yeah, where
like
people
according
are chill. Yeah.
where people are chill and fine with that. They're artists. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Lots of artists were hooking up with lots of people. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think back about Frida.
Yeah.
Who was also having affairs with women.
I mean, like, art and, like, it's so passionate.
Yeah.
You're, like, tapping into this, like,
Ooh.
unconscious, subconscious creative energies.
Yes.
It's sexual. There's desires. Grow up, everyone. Okay?
It's the hottest thing in the whole world is somebody doing their thing.
Yes.
Right?
So
And getting
true.
lost, like being in a flow state pretty
Yeah.
much is like the hottest thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are embodying this energy, it's hot.
Yeah.
And so they're two musicians are the most obvious example of that,
Mhm.
right? It's so energetic and so
Yes.
flow state. And they were probably a cute little couple.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that partnership came to an end around 1950. Marie's mother and 2 children were killed in a fire.
Oh, my God.
And she never really recovered from that trauma, and they drifted apart.
Yeah.
That's understandable. It's probably
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shortly after that, in 1951, some promoters came up with an idea. Sister's career is kind of waning at this point, right? So she had a very successful career in the 30s and the 40s, but it's the 50s now. And there's way more artists doing this sort of thing. Rosetta is playing a lot of the same songs she's played her whole career.
Okay.
So her career is starting to wane. You know, Stole Her Act is one way of thinking about it, but she also didn't keep up with the times.
Okay.
She had her shtick that she stuck to and was
Gotcha.
doing, and unfortunately times change.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the 50s, her career was starting to wane, even in the late 40s, probably, and that's why in 51, some promoters came up with a publicity stunt that I knew Lindsay was going to freak out.
Move over, Kim Kardashian. We've got the OG.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe walked so that Kim Kardashian could run.
So true.
So the publicity stunt, they pitched the idea of her having a public wedding at a baseball stadium in Washington, D.C.
Sacred versus profane.
Yeah.
Right? She is walking that aisle, if you will.
She agreed to it without even knowing who the husband would be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Iconic. She's gay. That's what that means.
She's gay. Yeah. She's like, sure, I don't care who the
whatever.
husband is.
Gotta
But
sell some
sounds
records.
fabulous.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just so happens that a
Love
man shows up at just the right time. Would you imagine that? His name is Russell Morrison. He offers to be her husband and her manager.
How generous.
Don't do this.
Yeah.
It's a big
If
no.
there's anything I've learned, it's like female musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
No momagers, no husbandagers.
Yeah, don't just agree to have a random dude be your husband and your manager. It's not a good idea. They don't love you.
Interesting.
They don't even support you. You know, they just want to leech off of you.
It's another Saturn transit, though. Like, again, just like such a karmic moment for her,
Yeah.
which is like her like celebrity, and like, right, that stadium was full, from my understanding.
That's my next line.
sorry.
25,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like some loss here too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
some sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which in many ways she was a martyr.
Because, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, there's a lot of loss there, even just the concept that she has to do a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
Like, she's so talented.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have to do something like this to garner people's attention and sell records.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, a man would never have to get married.
Yeah, I'd never have to get married.
Yeah.
Such a good point.
Yeah.
So, not saying men aren't susceptible to publicity stunts, because
Yes,
they are.
they are. Yeah.
But marriage certainly isn't one of them, I don't think.
Yeah.
So this is, kind of a sad time. It works.
Okay.
I mean, it works. 25,000 people show up to the wedding. It's wildly popular. People were obsessed with it. She sells a lot of records. And she stays married to Russell for over 20 years.
Okay. Nothing like a lavender marriage.
Yeah.
I just again, we just did Duke last week, this very Gemini moment in this age where media is just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
So this image of a black woman in a wedding dress playing an electric guitar in the middle of a baseball stadium is incredible.
It's cool.
Right? We're starting to become a society of images, and that is epic.
Yeah. For better or for worse.
Yes.
We get cool images out of it.
Cool images.
Yeah.
But we lose the story behind those images.
We lose a bit of soul.
Yeah.
I think. So just to reiterate, it's the late 50s, and Sister's career has really waned at this point because rock and roll is fully happening now.
Okay.
Right? Elvis is happening, Jerry Lee Lewis, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry. So rock and roll is here to stay, and other people are championing it.
Okay. And they're being championed.
Yeah. And I wonder about the TV, right? So Elvis is so well known because of him dancing on TV and him being able to kind of sell records that way. And I don't know if Sister Rosetta Tharpe was able to really harness that in her time.
Again, I mean, the biggest planet impacting everyone is Earth. And she just literally has constrained movement as a black woman, constrained access.
Yeah.
I mean, we still see this today where a woman has an idea, but when a white guy says it, it's oh, what a genius.
Yeah.
You know? So that was real.
My least favorite microaggression.
Yeah, exactly.
Is even just in a group of men saying an idea, and then they're like, oh, that's not possible. And then a man says it, and they're like, oh, okay. And you're like, literally just said that.
Rock and roll. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Luckily, Sister Rosetta Tharpe does have a little bit of resurgence in her career in the 60s when she gets invited to tour in Europe by the Chris Barber's jazz band.
Okay.
They loved her, and they just were like, find this woman for us. We're ready to bring her over and tour with her.
Uranus opposition. And that, I mean, it just seems for a lot of black talent, young, gifted, and black people at that time, Europe was way cooler than America.
It's so interesting because this is a British invasion is about to happen.
Okay.
So it's kind of this flip-flopping
where
rock and roll is taking off, and all of that is about to come to America and take over. But then, of course, people in Europe were like, but where does this come from? And guess where it comes from?
America.
Gospel and Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Okay.
So when she goes there, and they're discovering her for the first time because they're like, oh, this is the roots of what is popular.
Gotcha.
And she's the real deal, and so they're really intrigued by that.
This is definitely the moment, again, this Uranus opposition. It's such iconic moment in your 40s where if you're living aligned with karma, you get your flowers during your lifetime.
Aww.
And she did.
Well, something to look forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, especially for where her Uranus is, because after that, she doesn't in many ways, which is why we're talking about her right now.
That's right. Her legacy.
Yeah.
Legacy doesn't matter. Sorry.
Yeah, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Within the last few years. Yeah, wild.
Yeah. She was really popular in her lifetime. That's what, all of these rock and roll these early rock and roll stars, she was the person they were listening to.
Yeah.
She was a rock star.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about her legacy and maybe why that waned or what are the implications of that. There's a really iconic performance of Sister Rosetta Tharpe in Europe on a train station outside of Manchester. If you Google her, it's the first video that pops up.
Okay.
And I suggest watching it because she's just cool. She's just cool.
That's so cool. No one's doing stuff like that anymore.
Yeah. It was separate. So they were on one train platform and then the train was in the middle and the audience is on the other train platform.
That's so sick.
Yeah. So they have this, and people I watched a documentary about her that you can watch, right? It's called Sister Shout.
Okay.
Well, the book is Shout, Sister Shout, The Untold Story of Rock and Roll Trailblazer, Sister Rosetta Tharpe. But there's kind of a documentary that was made about her kind of based off of that. They interview the woman who did her biography and stuff.
Okay.
So, and the other musicians talk about it being they're it was awkward. It was weird. They were far from us and nobody had ever done anything like this before and we felt weird about it. But Sister Rosetta Tharpe, ate it up.
Ate it up.
She's like, I love that. I'm going to come bridge this gap. She's the perfect person to fill that space.
Yeah.
She saw the obstacle and she jumped over it, right? She was like, sure, no problem. I'll do this.
Dissolving boundaries.
Yeah.
Again, Pisces queen.
Yeah, totally. So I would suggest going to look at that because that's also like a great example of just like her playing the guitar with such ease.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The
it's
train
really
station, like an annoying place to be. Otherwise,
Right. Yeah. Her mother, Katie, died in 1968, which was really hard for her. Her mother was her only constant throughout her life. So this is a woman who had 3 marriages, who lost many people in different ways. And so when her mother died, it was really hard for her. There's some videos of her doing live performances kind of speaking about that.
Okay.
And in 1970, she was diagnosed with diabetes. She had had a stroke, not a major one. She survived. But her diabetes led to her having to get her leg amputated, which stinks. She kind of always held on to hope that maybe she would get back out there singing again, but it just never happened for her. And she died in October of 1973.
Okay.
October 9th, after another stroke.
Okay.
She's 58 years young.
Yeah. Second Saturn return. And then, yeah, just a disease that comes with like social determinants of health, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, not good food, not good care.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's hard being a touring musician and taking care of your health.
Yeah.
And that's
if
how
you're
she was
Black,
making
you,
her
like,
money.
You can't go to restaurants, you know,
Yeah.
like, or gosh, who knows what it was like.
That's true, yeah. And they talk about that. So my main source for this, as I mentioned, was a documentary that came out in 2011. It's a BBC documentary about her, Shout Sister Shout. And it interviews a lot of people that were around her during her touring days, Black people and white people. And they say that every once in a while they would get lucky and somebody would serve them out the back door and they would have to take it back to the tour bus and eat. And the white people who she was, of course, doing a favor for by allowing them to perform with her, because she was the main act in these spaces, they would, of course, get extra food for her and bring it to the bus because they had a tight-knit relationship for sure.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's good. She's a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
And entertaining all of these people. So what the hell?
Yeah.
So there's been a play produced by Sister Rosetta Tharpe. And supposedly Amazon will be making a movie about her life. And Lizzo is slated to play her.
Oh, how interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
However, Sister Rosetta Tharpe's biggest contribution to culture is her influence on the early days of rock and roll. It cannot be stated enough. She was a huge inspiration to all of the rock and roll stars in the early days. Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Aretha Franklin, Bob Dylan, Buddy Holly, Keith Richards, among others. When Johnny Cash gave his induction speech at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he referred to Tharpe as his favorite singer when he was a child. Chuck Berry once said that his whole career was just one long Sister Rosetta Tharpe impersonation.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She invited Little Richard to perform with her on stage and then paid him afterwards, which was like the seminal moment he decided to go into the entertainment business.
Wow.
Yeah, so she just, like, had a lot of influence on
Mother.
people. Yeah. On December 13th, 2017, she was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
2017.
as an early influence. And in September 2025, Tharpe was selected for induction of the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And she is reported to have said, "Oh, these kids and their rock and roll. It's just sped up rhythm and blues, and I've been doing that forever."
Yeah. She has so many, like, maternal transits, or signatures, I should say, but, like, but manifest in, like, such an Aquarian way.
Cool.
Right? She didn't have any children.
Nope.
But she mothered a whole sound.
Yeah, she's the godmother of rock and roll.
Yeah, or I've heard her niece, who's a big advocate for her memory, just say the mother. So
yeah, that's so funny because when I read it, I was like, why is she the godmother?
Yeah,
like why do people get to be the father or the king of rock and roll?
So true.
But she's the godmother.
That's true because you don't get scars on your body being a godmother. So,
Yeah,
you know,
what
like,
who
yeah.
who coined that
It's,
and why?
and it's just such, I think, a testament to this. Yeah, there's a few signatures that show this distortion, right? This like kind of misremembering or erasure, or again, just kind of the nature of a mother's work that it is often forgotten, overlooked, hidden, you know, taken for granted.
Correct.
So,
I would lean more towards mother because, yeah, the legacy of that is often forgotten.
mhm.
Godmothers, we remember, like fairy
I'm a
godmother.
godmother. I see that kid once a year.
Yeah.
Shout out Zachy. But
Yeah,
yeah.
she was the mother of it. She birthed it.
Yeah.
She created it.
Yeah, through like her blood, sweat, and tears.
Yep.
Yeah.
And her soul.
And her soul.
Yeah, she was that's something I guess I didn't mention and I should because like we said earlier, she was a part of the Pentecostal church, which believed in direct communion with God. So she was doing that through her music. And when she performed, she often looked up. She was always looking up towards the heavens. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's how she would perform. It was always this praising in a way.
Which is just such an interesting thing about emulation, right? Because then it becomes secular. And I mean, rock's gotten a lot trashier too.
Yeah.
Wait till she hears about Creed, which I guess is a religious band.
Oh, yeah. Can
Full
you
circle.
take me high? That's Creed, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, I'm already there. I don't
need to do that.
I didn't think I'd make that through line to Creed, but if that's on your bingo card,
then congrats.
Yeah. But let's see. So much to say. Well, I wanted to like come up with like a title for her chart. I'm trying to start doing this for everyone.
Yeah.
An esoteric rebel, a holy pirate, a soulful anarchist, a spiritual punk.
I want Trailblazer in there
Trailblazer,
somewhere.
yes. But like with like something spiritual about that I'm not clever enough to come up with right now.
We'll think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was so soulful and spiritual.
Yeah. And, you know, so again, she has that Pisces energy. You know, who else was a misunderstood Pisces? Jesus. So, you know, the people who followed him did not get it exactly right either. So here we are. But yeah, so like, again, some martyrdom.
Yeah. And bastardization almost.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is, you know, you hear someone being a rock star, like Mick Jagger's still alive, like fathering children, living the high life. And she died so young, like, you know. Yeah. So... but that's, you know, she's another one where we didn't know her birth time, but she just seems like she'd be born at noon, just having the sun shining at the top of her chart. Yeah. You know, as a rock star. And again, it's conjunct this, like, asteroid series that represents mother, you know, and let's see. I guess to get to those maternal themes, as an alleged Cancer rising, which I'm making up, I mean, the moon would then be her chart ruler. Yeah. And mother also is like, motherhood is like a skipped evolutionary step for her too. So in this lifetime, she's new to maternal energy. Yeah. It's not natural to her. Which I think it might have been, why there's all these other pieces.
Yeah, and I think that I'm sorry, I was just remembering from the documentary, like the white guys who sang with her, they interview one of him and he goes, she called us her babies. Yeah. Her 4 white babies.
That's adorable.
So she definitely was still emulating this mothering spirit with the people around her, potentially.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Interesting. And again, she has that Venus-Uranus, so it's like motherhood, but make it Uranus. You know, make it Aquarian. Yes. Make it kind of, again, probably rapidly changing. I feel like she formed a lot of different bands because I feel like there's probably a lot of drama, too. I mean...
tends to come with rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like if you're gonna be a big star, you're gonna have some electricity. Yeah. Some static. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine your like romantic relationships. Imagine having that close of a relationship with many other people because that's how music works. Like if you're in a band is a band. Like, yeah. Ever think of the word band? Like it's come like together. A brotherhood of people together and having to live together and work together and do all these things. And so it's like a polyamorous relationship. Like you're balancing a lot of energies.
Yeah. Hot take, Burning Man.
Yeah.
Like she's just It's too bad Seattle wasn't a thing yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, that Pisces, like, right, that's where her Chiron is, right? That's where her biggest wounds are, but also her biggest gifts. So I do think, she, through her adversity, like, she really carried a lot of Christ consciousness, I think because of her faith and who she was. She wasn't gonna snap back. Like, I mean, probably couldn't, but, like, she was a bridge builder.
Yeah.
A dissolver of boundaries.
Of boundaries, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, why not? Why not? Like, this was her form of preaching.
Yeah.
Who needs preaching? Maybe not the people who are already in the church.
Yeah, exactly. So true. And again, just like these signatures of exile as well. Like, it's also lonely to be the star. She has these Pluto and Saturn in the 12th house. Right? So, like, in making some interesting aspects to her sun. So, not fitting in, not always being understood. And yeah, I guess one of the things I always like think of these kind of astrology we do as like quantum astrology, and I feel like she really represents that, right? Because Pisces, right? And it's interesting. She's born at the time quantum physics is becoming a concept,
Okay.
right? There's this religious idea in Christianity that we're all one, and it's like we're learning that it's a secular concept too,
Yeah.
right? That there's a unified field, and she's like living that.
Yeah.
And then another kind of interesting thing to think about when we look at folks who were born longer ago, right? We're talking about planets that hadn't been discovered yet, like Pluto, and this was with Duke too, right? So we get to look back with this expanded consciousness, right? Understanding this moment they are a part of, which again is like in this Pluto and Gemini generation, a big storytelling moment. And we're moving from like a more fractured society where there's many stories to a singular story perpetuated through television, for better and for worse. And she's a huge part of that.
Yeah.
And then she's excluded as a huge part of that too.
Yeah. Yeah, her legacy, it's sad that people don't know who Sister Rosetta Tharpe is.
Yeah.
That she just kind of faded into the background, like, pretty immediately. Like, it's really only that first wave of rock and roll stars who cite her as an influence.
And this happens again and again. I mean, I'm not a music historian, but this happened with house music and with disco. And they literally had like a burning of disco records, right?
Wow.
Which is black music.
Yeah.
And then it's repackaged and it's the Bee Gees or whatever and then sold back to us.
Yeah.
Again, but without the soul. And that's like, I'm a big house music person, which is very much this like deliberate connection with gospel and spirituality that's now is just these like trashy festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want, like, music is truly a direct connection to divine energy.
Yeah.
And to the thing that brings us all together.
Can soulful music survive mass media?
Yeah, right.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. I think there's been an active push for it not to. But it still obviously exists out there. Like, there's something about the music industry and making, like, a certain hertz the correct broadcasting. And that's, like, it's a very disruptive frequency, actually.
Yeah.
And that was sorry, I'm really not speaking to this well. I didn't look it up and think about it, but it is something that I've heard mentioned before. Steve would be able to talk
Yeah,
on
but
this.
there's like healing sounds used in sound therapy, and pop music is actually used to torture prisoners at most camp, like at like Guantanamo Bay. So that's not a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just look at that really quick. You can say what you wanted to say.
I mean, that's pretty much what I have for her. I guess then, again, she, like, this was like with Nelson Mandela, like when you have, like, she has Pisces and Aquarius, right? These are signs that are very next to each other, but they aren't the same and they aren't opposite, right? So integrating things that are like kind of different is really hard, right? So that Pisces Aquarian vibe. Gwen's an Aquarius. Do you have any Pisces friends?
frenemies.
She makes them cry a lot.
No.
But it's like, right, this like steep spirituality, which you also have, but then
Yeah.
with like this like revolutionary spirit.
Yeah.
And again, in these institutions, those things are at odds, but within these kind of individuals, they're integrated really beautifully.
Yeah,
right?
totally. And I feel, to advocate for myself, I really feel for a Pisces. I get it. It's so hard for them.
I'm just a Libra causing problems right now. I'm sorry.
It's hard for them, and I like can dissociate like
Yeah.
really easy. That's my job as an
Yeah.
Aquarius, and so I have been given a gift where poor Pisces, they just need to feel it.
They're
be
feeling
in it.
feelings for all of us. And
They
like,
are.
Yeah, like her,
So
you know, it's
true.
always interesting if someone else had her chart, you know, which, I mean, there's thousands of people born that same day with that same chart, but,
Yeah.
you know, has her unique social location, which is important. And then, you know, every individual has like what they can add to it. And she has this incredible resilience.
Yeah.
That not everyone does.
I looked up the frequencies. So, because I guess it was like the music industry decided that 440 hertz is what music was going to be tuned to.
Yeah.
And 440 is just a little bit higher than like 432 hertz, for example, which is like a very calming, uniting sound. So it's just like a pitch. It's not as calming and uniting and settling as it could be. We've raised it a pitch for everything to be tuned a pitch higher, which is weird. Why?
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
It's interesting, like, thinking what, like, these institutions that we don't think of as institutions, but, like, yeah, the music industry has, like, decided this for everyone almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So there's some conspiracies about that you can look up on the internet.
Okay, like, that was done deliberately to keep us agitated.
Yeah, more agitated, less harmonious, less at peace.
I mean, I think you can follow like so many amazing Black musicians and then how they are killed, or again, their story is distorted, right? The empire just consumes art and destroys it. So,
Yeah.
And the people who make it too.
That's correct.
So,
yeah.
Call me a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You mean a truth teller? No, just kidding.
Exactly.
Just kidding. Not true. Well, I'm glad that there's been a rediscovering of Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to say?
Not really. Yeah.
Look into her story.
Yeah.
Watch some of her videos. Really cool. You just have to, like, I get really jealous of, or envious, I suppose, of people who were around when these major cultural changes were happening. Like, imagine hearing Sgt. Pepper's for the first time. Imagine being alive when that was happening. We don't get that often these days because we're exposed to so much.
Or we don't know when we do.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like the last big cultural one was, I feel like the blending of like country music and hip hop is one of those, right? Like that's a unique sound that we weren't expecting and people really like it. But I think the more iconic one is like the creation of dubstep.
It is.
Yeah, that was like, we were all sitting around being like, what is this?
Yeah.
We've never heard
whether
this
you
before.
like it or not. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, whether you like it or not, it didn't matter because it was just like, I've never heard this sound before.
Yeah.
What's going on? And that's like what Sister Rosetta Tharpe was doing with her electric guitar and making these really cool sounds where people are like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, music is just such an important part of our world.
It is. Yeah.
Cool.
That's
I know
all.
to like to go to the Cotton Club must have been an epic night. Yeah.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
So cool.
So fun.
We don't know who we're doing next.
We don't.
Okay, so tell us who
Tell
should
us.
do.
Yeah, just make sure they're dead. Or they should already be dead. Don't murder anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
I think that's all.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.